Now, some interesting things come in here if you start talking about chronology, which is really complicated. A popular year given for the Exodus is 1446 um, BC, but that's not, well, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. If that's true, what we would see is that that would mean that Moses was born, according to the chronology, about 1526 BC. And then, depending on how you count the years back, if you trust the years back to uh, Abraham and such, and depending on how you count that to what point in Abraham's life, then you would have the death of Joseph about 1591 BC. And so that's kind of an interesting thing to picture that, Joseph dies and it's 65 years before the birth of Moses, which is about the time that you would expect for forgetting about Joseph in the history. But who can say for sure? The escape from Egypt. These are the names of the children of Israel that went into Egypt with Jacob. They went in, every man with his household: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of Jacob's thigh were 70. But Joseph was in Egypt. After he was dead, and all his brothers, and all that generation, the children of Israel increased and sprung up into multitudes, and growing exceedingly strong, they filled the land. In the meantime, there arose a new king over Egypt that did not know Joseph, and he said to his people, "See, the people of the children of Israel are numerous and stronger than we. Come, let us wisely oppress them, lest they multiply. And if any war shall rise against us, join with our enemies, and having overcome us, depart out of the land." Therefore he set over them masters of works, to afflict them with burdens. And they built for Pharaoh cities of tabernacles, Pithom and Ramesses. But the more they oppressed them, the more they were multiplied and increased. And the Egyptians hated the children of Israel, and afflicted them, and mocked them. And they made their life bitter with hard works in clay and brick, and with all manner of service wherewith they were overcharged in the works of the earth. And the king of Egypt spoke to the midwives of the Hebrews, of whom one was called Zephirah and the other Phua, commanding them, "When you shall do the office of midwives to the Hebrew women, and the time of delivery is come, if it be a man-child, kill it. If a woman, keep it alive." But the midwives feared God, and did not do as the king of Egypt had commanded, but saved the men children. And the king called for them and said, "What is it that you mean to do, that you would save the men children?" They answered, "The Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they themselves are skillful in the office of a midwife, and they are delivered before we come to them." Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and grew exceedingly strong. And behold, the daughter of Pharaoh came to wash herself in the river, and her maids walked by the river's bank. When she saw the basket in the sedges, she sent one of her maids for it, and when it was brought, she opened it, and seeing within it an infant crying, having compassion on it, she said, "This is one of the babes of the Hebrews." And the child's sister said to her, "Shall I go and call to you a Hebrew woman to nurse the babe?" She answered, "Go." The maid went and called her mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child and nurse him for me. I will give you your wages." The woman took and nursed the child, and when he was grown up, she delivered him to Pharaoh's daughter. And she adopted him for a son and called him Moses, saying, "Because I took him out of the water." In those days after Moses was grown up, he went out to his brethren and saw their affliction, and an Egyptian striking one of the Hebrews, his brethren. And when he had looked about this way and that way, and saw no one there, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. And going out the next day, he saw two Hebrews quarreling, and he said to him that did the wrong, "Why do you strike your neighbor?" But he answered, "Who has appointed you prince and judge over us? Will you kill me as you killed the Egyptian yesterday?" Moses feared and said, "How has this come to be known?" And Pharaoh heard of the word and sought to kill Moses, but he fled from his sight and abode in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. And the priest of Midian had 7 daughters who came to draw water, and when the troughs were filled, desired to water their father's flocks. And the shepherds came and drove them away. And Moses arose, and defending the maids, watered the sheep. And when they returned to Raguel their father, he said to them, "Why are you come sooner than usual?" They answered, "A man of Egypt delivered us from the hands of the shepherds, and he drew water also with us, and gave the sheep to drink." But he said, "Where is he? Why have you let the man go? Call him, that he may eat bread." And Moses swore that he would dwell with him. And he took Zipporah his daughter to wife, and she bore him a son, whom he called Gershom, saying, "I have been a stranger in a foreign country." And she bore another, whom he called Eleazar, saying, "For the God of my father, my helper, has delivered me out of the hand of Pharaoh." Now Moses fed the sheep of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he drove the flock to the inner parts of the desert, and came to the mountain of God, Horeb. And the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he saw that the bush was on fire, and was not burnt. And Moses said, "I will go and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt." And when the Lord saw that he went forward to see, he called to him out of the midst of the bush, and said, "Moses, Moses." And he answered, "Here I am." And he said, "Come no nearer. Put off the shoes from your feet, for the place whereon you stand is holy ground." And he said, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." Moses hid his face, for he dared not look at God. And the Lord said to him, "I have seen the affliction of my people in Egypt, and I have heard their cry because of the rigor of them that are over the works. And knowing their sorrow, I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them out of that land into a good and spacious land, into a land that flows with milk and honey, to the places of the Canaanite and Hittite and Amorite and Perizzite and Hivite and Jebusite. For the cry of the children of Israel is come to me, and I have seen their affliction wherewith they are oppressed by the Egyptians. But come, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt." And Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, and should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?" And he said to him, "I will be with you, and this you shall have for a sign that I have sent you. When you shall have brought my people out of Egypt, you shall offer sacrifice to God upon this mountain." Moses said to God, "Look, I shall go to the children of Israel and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you.' If they should say to me, 'What is his name?' what shall I say to them?" God said to Moses, "I am who am." He said, Thus shall you say to the children of Israel, He who is has sent me to you. And God said again to Moses, Thus shall you say to the children of Israel, The Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. After these things Moses and Aaron went in and said to Pharaoh, Thus says the Lord God of Israel, Let my people go, that they may sacrifice to me in the desert. But he answered, Who is the Lord, that I should hear his voice and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, neither will I let Israel go. And they said, The God of the Hebrews has called us to go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and to sacrifice to the Lord our God, lest the pestilence or the sword fall upon us. The king of Egypt said to them, Why do you, Moses and Aaron, draw off the people from their works? Get you gone to your burdens. And Pharaoh said, The people of the land is numerous. You see the multitude is increased. How much more if you give them rest from their works? And Moses returned to the Lord and said, Lord, why have you afflicted this people? Why have you sent me? For since the time that I went in to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has afflicted your people, and you have not delivered them. And the Lord said to Moses, Now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh. For by a mighty hand shall he let them go, and with a strong hand shall he cast them out of his land. And Moses told all this to the children of Israel, but they did not hearken to him, for anguish of spirit and most painful work. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Go in and speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. Moses answered before the Lord, See, the children of Israel do not listen to me, and how will Pharaoh hear me, especially as I am of uncircumcised lips? And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, and he gave them a charge to the children of Israel, and to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, that they should bring forth the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord said to Moses, See, I have appointed you the God of Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. You shall speak to him all that I command you, and he shall speak to Pharaoh, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. But I shall harden his heart, and shall multiply my signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, and he will not hear you. And I will lay my hand upon Egypt, and will bring forth my army and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt, by very great judgments. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, who have stretched forth my hand upon Egypt, and have brought forth the children of Israel out of the midst of them. And Moses and Aaron did as the Lord had commanded. So they did. And Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83, when they spoke to Pharaoh. Come the month of April, the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand towards heaven, and may there be darkness upon the land of Egypt so thick that it may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hand towards heaven, and there came horrible darkness in all the land of Egypt for 3 days. No man saw his brother, nor moved himself out of the place where he was. But wherever the children of Israel dwelt, there was light. And Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said to them, Go sacrifice to the Lord. Let your sheep only and herds remain. Let your children go with you. Moses said, "You shall give us also sacrifices and burnt offerings to the Lord our God. All the flocks shall go with us. There shall not a hoof remain of them, for they are necessary for the service of the Lord our God, especially as we do not know what must be offered until we come to the very place." And the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. And Pharaoh said to Moses, "Get away from me, and beware that you do not see my face any more. And what day soever you shall come in my sight, you shall die." Moses answered, "So shall it be as you have spoken. I will not see your face any more." And he said, "Thus says the Lord, at midnight I will enter into Egypt, and every firstborn in the land of the Egyptians shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the handmaid that is at the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be a great cry in all the land of Egypt, such as neither has been before nor shall be hereafter. But with all the children of Israel there shall not a dog make a least noise, from man even to beast, that you may know how wonderful a difference the Lord makes between the Egyptians and Israel. And all these your servants shall come down to me, and shall worship me, saying, Go forth, and all the people that is under you. After that we will go out." And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall be to you the beginning of months. It shall be the first in the months of the year. Speak to the whole assembly of the children of Israel, and say to them, On the 10th day of this month, let every man take a lamb by their families and houses. But if the number be less than may suffice to eat the lamb, he shall take to him his neighbor that joins to his house, according to the number of souls which may be enough to eat the lamb. And it shall be a lamb without blemish, a male, of 1 year, according to which rite also you shall take a kid. And you shall keep it until the 14th day of this month. And the whole multitude of the children of Israel shall sacrifice it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood thereof, and put it upon both the side posts, and on the upper doorpost of the house, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh that night, roasted at the fire, and unleavened bread with wild lettuce. You shall not eat thereof anything raw, nor boiled in water, but only roasted at the fire. You shall eat the head with the feet and entrails thereof. Neither shall there remain anything of it until morning. If there be anything left, you shall burn it with fire. And thus you shall eat it. You shall gird your reins, and you shall have shoes on your feet, holding staves in your hands, and you shall eat in haste, for it is the phase, that is, the Passover of the Lord. And I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and will kill every firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute my judgments. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a sign in the houses where you shall be. And I shall see the blood, and shall pass over you. And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I shall strike the land of Egypt. And this day shall be a memorial to you, and you shall keep it a feast to the Lord in your generations, with an everlasting observance. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. In the first day there shall be no leaven in your houses. Whosoever shall eat anything leavened, from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall perish out of Israel. The first day shall be holy and solemn, and the seventh day shall be kept with the like solemnity. You shall do no work in them, except those things that belong to eating. And you shall observe the feast of the unleavened bread. For in this same day I will bring forth your army out of the land of Egypt, and you shall keep this day in your generations by a perpetual observance. The first month, the 14th day of the month, in the evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the same month, in the evening. 7 days there shall not be found any leaven in your houses. He that shall eat leavened bread, his soul shall perish out of the assembly of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. You shall not eat anything leavened. In all your habitations you shall eat unleavened bread. And Moses called all the ancients of the children of Israel and said to them, Go take a lamb by your families and sacrifice the Passover, and dip a bunch of hyssop in the blood that is at the door, and sprinkle the transom of the door with it, and both the door cheeks. Let none of you go out of the door of the house until morning. For the Lord will pass through, striking the Egyptians, and when he shall see the blood on the transom and on both the posts, he will pass over the door of the house and not suffer the destroyer to come into your house and to hurt you. You shall keep this thing as a law for you and your children forever. And when you have entered into the land which the Lord will give you as he has promised, you shall observe these ceremonies. And when your children shall say to you, What is the meaning of this service? You shall say to them, It is the victim of the passage of the Lord, when he passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, striking the Egyptians and saving our houses. And the people bowing themselves adored. And the children of Israel going forth did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. And it came to pass at midnight, the Lord slew every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, until the firstborn of the captive women that was in the prison, and all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh arose in the night, and all his servants, and all Egypt, and there arose a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house wherein there lay not one dead. And Pharaoh, calling Moses and Aaron in the night, said, Arise and go forth from among my people, you and the children of Israel. Go, sacrifice to the Lord as you say. Your sheep and herds take along with you as you demanded, and departing, bless me. And the Egyptians pressed the people to go out of the land speedily, saying, We shall all die. The people therefore took dough before it was leavened, and tying it in their cloaks, put it on their shoulders. And the children of Israel did as Moses had commanded, and they asked of the Egyptians vessels of silver and gold, and very much raiment. And the Lord gave favor to the people in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent to them, and they stripped the Egyptians. And the children of Israel set forward from Rameses to Succoth, being about 600,000 men on foot, beside children. And a mixed multitude without number went up also with them, sheep and herds and beasts of divers kinds, exceedingly many. And they baked the meal, which a little before they had brought out of Egypt, in a dough, and they made earth cakes unleavened. For it could not be leavened, the Egyptians pressing them to depart, and not suffering them to make any stay. Neither did they think of preparing any meat. And the abode of the children of Israel that they made in Egypt was 430 years, which being expired, the same day all the army of the Lord went forth out of the land of Egypt. This is the observable night of the Lord, when he brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. This night all the children of Israel must observe in their generations. And all the children of Israel did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. And the same day the Lord brought forth the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their companies. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Sanctify to me every firstborn that opens the womb among the children of Israel, as well of men as of beasts, for they are all mine. And Moses said to the people, Remember this day in which you came forth out of Egypt, and out of the house of bondage. For with a strong hand has the Lord brought you forth out of this place, that you eat no unleavened bread. This day that you eat no leavened bread. This day you go forth in the month of new corn. And when the Lord shall have brought you into the land of the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Amorite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, which he swore to your fathers that he would give you, a land that flows with milk and honey, you shall celebrate this manner of sacred rites in this month. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be the solemnity of the Lord. Unleavened bread shall you eat 7 days. There shall not be seen anything leavened with you, nor in all your coasts. And you shall tell your son in that day, saying, This is what the Lord did to me when I came forth out of Egypt. And it shall be as a sign in your hand and as a memorial before your eyes, that the law of the Lord be always in your mouth, for with a strong hand the Lord has brought you out of the land of Egypt. You shall keep this observance at the set time from days to days. And when the Lord shall have brought you into the land of the Canaanite, as he swore to you and your fathers, and shall give it to you, you shall set apart all that open the womb for the Lord, and all that is first brought forth of your cattle. Whatsoever you shall have of the male sex you shall consecrate to the Lord. The firstborn of an ass you shall change for a sheep, and if you do not redeem it, you shall kill it. And every firstborn of men you shall redeem with a price. And when your son shall ask you tomorrow, saying, What is this? You shall answer him, With a strong hand did the Lord bring us forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. For when Pharaoh was hardened and would not let us go, the Lord slew every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of man to the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all that open the womb of the male sex, and all the firstborn of my sons I redeem. And it shall be as a sign in your hand, and as a thing hung between your eyes for a remembrance, because the Lord has brought us forth out of Egypt by a strong hand. And when Pharaoh had sent out the people, the Lord led them not by the way of the land of the Philistines, which is near, thinking lest perhaps they would repent if they should see wars arise against them and would return to Egypt. But he led them about by the way of the desert, which is by the Red Sea. And the children of Israel went up armed out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took Joseph's bones with him, because he had adjured the children of Israel, saying, God shall visit you, carry out my bones from hence with you. And marching from Succoth, they encamped in Etham, in the utmost coast of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them to show them the way, by day in a pillar of cloud, and by night in a pillar of fire, that he might be the guide of their journey at both times. There never failed the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night before the people. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel. Let them turn and encamp over against Pi-hahiroth, which is between Magdal and the sea, over against Baal-zephon. And you shall encamp before it upon the sea. And Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, They are straitened in the land. The desert has shut them in. And I shall harden his heart, and he will pursue you. And I shall be glorified in Pharaoh and in all his army, and the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord." And they did so. And it was told the king of the Egyptians that the people was fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was changed with regard to the people. And they said, "What did we mean to do that we let Israel go from serving us?" So he made ready his chariot and took all his people with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots that were in Egypt, and the captains of the whole army. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and he pursued the children of Israel. But they were gone forth in a mighty hand. And when the Egyptians followed the steps of them that were gone before, they found them encamped at the seaside. All Pharaoh's horse and chariots, and the whole army were in Pi-hahiroth before Baal-zephon. And the angel of God, who went before the camp of Israel, removing, went behind them. And together with him the pillar of cloud, leaving the forepart, stood behind, between the Egyptians' camp and the camp of Israel. And it was a dark cloud, and enlightening the night, so that they could not come at one another all the night. And when Moses had stretched forth his hand over the sea, the Lord took it away by a strong and burning wind blowing all the night, and turned it into dry ground, and the water was divided. And the children of Israel went in through the middle of the sea dried up, for the water was a wall on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursuing went in after them, and all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots and horsemen, through the midst of the sea. And now the morning watch was come, and behold, the Lord, looking upon the Egyptian army through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, slew their host, and overthrew the wheels of the chariots, and they were carried into the deep. And the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from Israel, for the Lord fights for them against us." And the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch forth your hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots and horsemen." And when Moses had stretched forth his hand towards the sea, and it returned at the first break of day to the former place, and as the Egyptians were fleeing away, the waters came upon them, and the Lord shut them up in the middle of the waves. And the waters returned, and covered the chariots and the horsemen of all the army of Pharaoh who had come into the sea after them. Neither did there so much as one of them remain. But the children of Israel marched through the midst of the sea upon dry land, and the waters were to them as a wall on the right hand and on the left. And the Lord delivered Israel on that day out of the hands of the Egyptians, and they saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore, and the mighty hand that the Lord had used against them. And the people feared the Lord, and they believed the Lord, and Moses his servant. Then Moses and the children of Israel sung this canticle to the Lord, and said, "Let us sing to the Lord, for he is gloriously magnified. The horse and the rider he has thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and my praise, and he has become salvation to me. He is my God, and I will glorify him, the God of my father, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war, almighty is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his army he has cast into the sea. His chosen captains are drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them, they are sunk to the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, Lord, is magnified in strength. Your right hand, Lord, has slain the enemy, and in the multitude of your glory you have put down your adversaries. You have sent your wrath, which has devoured them like stubble, and with the blast of your anger the waters were gathered together. The flowing water stood, the depths were gathered together in the midst of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue and overtake. I will divide the spoils, my soul shall have its fill. I will draw my sword, my hand shall slay them. Your wind blew and the sea covered them. They sunk as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like to you among the strong, O Lord? Who is like to you, glorious in holiness, terrible and praiseworthy, doing wonders? You stretched forth your hand, and the earth swallowed them. In your mercy you have been a leader to the people which you have redeemed. And in your strength you have carried them to your holy habitation. Nations rose up and were angry. Sorrows took hold on the inhabitants of Philistia. Then were the princes of Edom troubled. Trembling seized on the stout men of Moab. All the inhabitants of Canaan became stiff. Let fear and dread fall upon them in the greatness of your arm. Let them become unmovable as stone, until your people, Lord, pass by, until this your people pass by which you have possessed. You shall bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance, in your most firm habitation which you have made, O Lord. Your sanctuary, O Lord, which your hands have established, the Lord shall reign forever and ever. For Pharaoh went in on horseback with his chariots and horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought back upon them the waters of the sea. But the children of Israel walked on dry ground, in the midst thereof. So Mary the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went forth after her with timbrels and with dances. And she began the song to them, saying, Let us sing to the Lord, for he is gloriously magnified. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. And Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went forth into the wilderness of Sur. And they marched 3 days through the wilderness, and found no water. And they came into Marah, and they could not drink the waters of Marah, because they were bitter. Whereupon he gave a name also agreeable to the place, calling it Marah, that is, bitterness. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? But he cried to the Lord, and he showed him a tree, which, when he had cast it into the waters, they were turned into sweetness. There he appointed him ordinances and judgments, and there he proved him, saying, If you will hear the voice of the Lord your God, and do what is right before him, and obey his commandments, and keep all his precepts, none of the evils that I laid upon Egypt will I bring upon you, for I am the Lord your healer. Now comes the month of May. And the children of Israel came into Elim, where there were 12 fountains of water and 70 palm trees, and they encamped by the waters. And they set forward from Elim, and all the multitude of the children of Israel came into the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, the 15th day of the 2nd month, after they came out of the land of Egypt. And all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said to them, Would God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat over the flesh pots and ate bread to the full. Why have you brought us into this desert, that you might destroy all the multitude with famine? And the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you. Let the people go forth and gather what is sufficient for every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or not. But the 6th day let them provide to bring in, and let it be double to that they were wont to gather every day. And Moses and Aaron said to the children of Israel, In the evening you shall know that the Lord has brought you forth from the land of Egypt, and in the morning you shall see the glory of the Lord, for he has heard your murmuring against the Lord. But as for us, what are we that you mutter against us? And Moses said, In the evening the Lord will give you flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For he has heard your murmurings, with which you have murmured against him. For what are we? Your murmuring is not against us, but against the Lord. Moses also said to Aaron, "Say to the whole congregation of the children of Israel, 'Come before the Lord, for he has heard your murmuring.' And when Aaron spoke to all the assembly of the children of Israel, they looked towards the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in a cloud. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, I have heard the murmuring of the children of Israel. Say to them, in the evening you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall have your fill of bread, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God." So it came to pass in the evening that quails coming up covered the camp, and in the morning a dew lay round about the camp, and when it had covered the face of the earth, it appeared in the wilderness small, as it were beaten with a pestle, like to hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, "Manhu," which means, "What is this?" For they didn't know what it was. And Moses said to them, "This is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat." Then all the multitude of the children of Israel, setting forward from the desert of Sin, by their houses according to the words of the Lord, encamped in Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. And they chode with Moses and said, "Give us water that we may drink." And Moses answered them, "Why do you chide with me? Why do you tempt the Lord?" So the people were thirsty there for want of water, and murmured against Moses, saying, "Why did you make us go forth out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our beasts with thirst?" And Moses cried to the Lord, saying, "What shall I do to this people? Yet a little more, and they'll stone me." And the Lord said to Moses, "Go before the people, and take with you of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the rod with which you struck the river, and go. Behold, I will stand there before you upon the rock Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water shall come out of it, that the people may drink." Moses did so before the ancients of Israel, and he called the name of that place Temptation, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and that they tempted the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" And Amalek came and fought against Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said to Joshua, "Choose out men and go and fight against Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill, having the rod of God in my hand." Joshua did as Moses had spoken, and he fought against Amalek. But Moses and Aaron and Hur went up upon the top of the hill. And when Moses lifted up his hands, Israel overcame. But if he let them down a little, Amalek overcame. And Moses' hands were heavy, so they took up a stone and put under him, and he sat on it. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands on both sides. And it came to pass that his hands were not weary until sunset, and Joshua put Amalek and his people to flight by the edge of the sword. And so thus for the escape from Egypt. God bless you.